Hey folks, I have a tactical trigger unit from Wilson Combat. It's a drop-in unit. Comes with everything you need here. It's like a nice, solid, sturdy unit. And played around with the trigger and it's got an excellent pull. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to drop it in. So we're going to show you the change in the trigger pull. So this one here is the mil-spec standard trigger pull, and I have my low receiver clipped into the Wheeler Delta Series Magwell vice block, and we have the hammer protector right here, and we're going to hit fire. Alright, so everything's good there. So now we're going to take the trigger well, or excuse me, trigger scale, and pull. And it broke right at 6 1/4. 6 1/4 pounds. Let's try it again. It's best to kind of get an average. Alright, that broke at 5 3/4. Usually when you get an average, the triggers don't fall exactly perfect every time. Helps if you cock the hammer. Six 1/4. So I'd say it's around. I did some testing on this yesterday, and most of the time it fell around 6 1/4. I got it as low as 5 3/4, but I would say in general it's going to be around 6 1/4, 6 foot or 6 pound, around in there. Unless you got an expensive match trigger, a lot of times the standard mil-spec triggers on most guns, not just on ARs, but on any firearm, the standard trigger is not going to be perfect every time. So you kind of want to do it 3 times to get an average. But so, all right, so we're going to go ahead and start here, and I've never done this before, so it's going to be a process. Okay. First thing we want to do is to remove the hammer. We're going to do that with a hammer punch, excuse me, with a bore punch. Make sure you get the right one here. Trying to do this so that you can see everything that's going on so I don't block it. Alright, there's the hammer. Next is the trigger pin. You always want to, when you're disassembling this, put your hand over it so you don't have parts shooting out or anything like that. And try to do this without removing the safety. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. There we go. So we got that out. That's all the mil-spec parts. Alright, so what I was saying, I was reading here and it says to set it to half cock in order to put it in. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that, because obviously that's uncocked. And there's nothing that really... Oh, there we go. There's half cocked. Gotcha. Alright, so then we got the 2 pins lined up here. And you want this tail to go underneath the safety switch down there. And then you're going to push this down to line it up. Alright, so now take your... You're going to line up... go from the left side towards the right. Putting the offset notch in first. You line up your trigger. And you push it through. Take a look here, make sure it's going all the way through. It didn't go all the way in, but we're going to stick the hammer pin in next. Same way, same direction. We'll see if we can get that maybe once this is lined up, the other one will line up also. Alright. So at this point we're going to take it off the holder, because it recommends laying it on the table for this. So you want to push the hammer down. Here is not quite lined up exactly right. There we go. So here, a little more light tap. There we go. So everything is lined up perfectly. We're going to stick this back in here. We're going to do a function test. It's on safe. Oops. What's going on here? Alright. It's on safe, doesn't fire. Make sure the hammer safety is right here. Falls. Half cock, full cock. Alright. So now we're going to do a test. And I can tell you there's a huge difference just from pulling it just on the let off is incredible. Right where the trigger breaks. Alright. Three and a half pounds exactly. So we went from 6 1/4 to 3 1/2. Three and a half again. And man, I tell you, that's such a big difference. That's a beautiful trigger right here. Beautiful trigger. So if you're on the market for a nice trigger, I believe the retail on it was around, I think it was $265 or something like that. The MSRP on their website. The model is the TR-TTU-3G. It's the 3-gun semi-auto tactical trigger unit from Wilson Combat. wilsoncombat.com or 1-800-955-4856. So if you have any questions or anything about this trigger or about the installation, let me know. This is my first time putting in a drop-in trigger, and you see how easy it was to do. I mean, it took me a couple of minutes. Next time I do it, I'd probably be even more efficient at it. So check this thing out, man. I know for sure you'll like it. Semper Fi.